I never thought I'd get to this point of being in this build. I thought I would have to wait forever. And here we are, we're in alpha. But the alpha is wrapping up, the alpha is coming to an end. From my understanding, Jake has cleaned up a lot of the bugs. There are still a few here there, but that's going to be plopped into beta issues, and everyone else will get to play this for Christmas. So that's the good news, from my understanding. That is my understanding. Do not quote me on that. Do not harass Jake on that timeline. This is my understanding. He said that it's all the fires have been put out for the alpha, which, from my understanding, means it will be coming very soon for you. And I just wanted to wrap up my series, kind of do a recap, especially because from the intro, I didn't know what I was talking about. Now that I know what I'm talking about and I've actually experienced it, I can give you an insight into what I'm talking about. Starting off, we're going to go with the thing that's the most central right here. It's an arena. This is the new arena, the fight pit. And fight pits are two people in your civilization, plebeians as they're known, and they fight. And people who are also plebeians will watch them. They are not slaves. They are not people who are captives. Although I do think that they should be, because I have plenty of them. That is not how they work currently. You can build them relatively cheap and pretty early. They cost, let me look at them, entertainment, fight pit. For the smallest, this is the smallest size. I gotta actually find somewhere I can place it. 80 and 50, that being wood and stone. The next size up, 160 and 100, and 240 and 150. And that's stone and wood, respectively. So that is a relatively cheap early game building. You could build a huge one if you want. I have a small one because I don't feel like it gets filled up enough. People are out here. People don't have enough time in their day to do everything. And that's something I think people misunderstand. So not everyone will watch a fight. They might watch a play. They might listen to the news. They might watch an execution. Or they might pray. It's up to them. They could probably visit the food stall here. So that's kind of why I have them all in this little tight, narrow area. You can see I have my export depots all lined here so that I can import things like food here, and then coal, as well as clay, leather, which has kind of been a hard issue, and I'm gonna have to start to like buy it outright and then have it fill up my stockpile. That's not a problem. I have imports for cotton and ore, and then out here I have a couple more as well. Some for fruit, wood to keep excess wood in case I run out of trees or I just don't have enough wood for what I'm trying to do. Opiates, because I'm not going to grow that. Herbs, same reason. And drinks, that's just to keep me at a baseline. Now that I have enough breweries, and I'll show those, you can kind of get the gist of that. This is all stuff that is in the beta currently, but the prices are all going to be different. Everything is going to be different every time you play. So don't expect to see one price say the same for all of your maps. It could be very expensive for fruit and vegetables on some maps, and other maps they might cost literally 2 denarii a piece. So my exports are paper. I've got cut stone, machine parts, and pottery. These are the least likely to be made, although I do have a fair amount of paper for sale, 22. So that is a fair amount of money that's going to come in. And then I have my more important area. So you can see I have 29 sets of armor at 500 for sale, 25 hammers at 368, 0 shields because the leather issue, as I mentioned, and then I also have 24 swords at 538 for that, 23 at 494, and you can see it's just kind of the same. That one's an empty one. I'm trying to sell tools, but tools are hard to come by in this. They are actually a lot harder to grow to build or produce. And it's interesting. They have a spoil rate of 25% a year. I'm not wondering if I'm kind of wondering if that's a little too high. Let's look at something else. Oh no, I guess it seems to be the same. I think you really have to put 10% of per year is a lot. So if you had 300 items, that's 30 items gone per year. They're deteriorating at a very quick rate. I don't believe that's to do with anything I've done. I think you just have to actually focus on getting the technology in order to reverse that with spoilage here. So if I take that, that's going to be another 5% or 0.6, I should say. So let's see what it is now. Saying the same. Maybe that's base. That could be the base rate. Yeah, and then if you look at the year, it's stored percentage, I think. So it should be about 6.25%. Regardless, sometimes get lost in these menus. I feel like because of my veterancy and having played songs for a long time, I jump around a lot, and I apologize for people who don't know what's going on. You might see these numbers and be like, what the heck? Or you might be like, wow, this guy has nothing in the terms of defenses. And that's true, yeah. This is the alpha build, so I haven't really put a lot of time into this stuff. And if you think about it, I have so much weapons across the board. That's 900 swords, if you think about it. Plus the shields, plus the warhammers, that's about 1800. And then the armors, there's 2 there, so that's the 900 there. I'm just splitting it now. I have to actually split that in half. You can see I have good numbers for everything else, but these are the things that I'm trying to create, and they're slowing me down. If you look at my army composition, and that's going to change as well, you can see this is a whole new conscript screen, the whole new UI and everything else. This division here is 150 guys training to 100%. With 2 armor and 2 swords as well as 2 shields apiece. These guys are going to be really good at poking and slashing, as well as being defended with their shields. So against any group of people, they're going to be the #1 fighter. They're always going to be the better fighters, especially because they're better trained. These guys, they're smaller regiment, but the same thing. Then I have all my leather armor regiments. The leather armor guys, I'd like to consider them light mobile units to attack flanks. So these guys, they'll be my dedicated bowman attackmen. So they'll run up on bowmen and try to take them out if they can before they get blasted. Then we have these 3 guys at 50 apiece. The idea is that they're going to try to pummel the front line and give it a nice go before these types of guys come in and actually do a little bit of damage. And I think that they make more sense as a pressure unit. They're going to try to get up to 150 as soon as I can get that population boost up there. For the reason, like I said, pressure. I think the sword and the shield guys are going to be really good at pushing. And that makes no sense because they're defensive units. But if you kind of understand how battles work, they're going to enclose on a guy. And their defensive skill is going to make them push in. The guys who are attacking and being crazy and running at them are going to die, and you will start to encircle them, and the other guys are there as distractions. Don't know if that works. I haven't tried it. I have 8% raid chance. I had a 16% raid chance before I made that 150 man group. So I'd really like to get this guy up there, enough so that I'm considering, or I considered lowering these guys. They're all at 40% training, but you can see that not all of them are although actually I think that's I'm confused as to what this orange bar is, because sometimes I think I understand it, because that's saying 98% training right there at the top there. But this guy is saying he's not fully trained up to 40%, but he is. That's that full yellow orange bar. That's where he would be at technically, because you can see there's one on the side below experience. That is where they're actually trained at. So this guy is at 99%. Same with this guy, he's at 99%. They will slowly drop back down to 40. Just kind of how it goes. On to the next thing. We have our laboratories. Laboratories have stayed pretty much the same, although I believe that you didn't upgrade them with machine parts before. I think you upgraded them with something else, like gems. Maybe he changed that to lower the cost. I'm not sure. I could be wrong about that. It's been a while since I played the beta. Food stalls are pretty generic form of food service. I really like them though. You can see that there's like how much food is on there. So right now they're out of food on everything, right? So I'm gonna give them a little bit more guys to go grab that, because I think the problem is that they just don't have enough workers to go grab food. And people will come and grab things themselves and eat it as they walk past. So it's really important to have your food stalls between your houses and your workplace, or where they're going. So let's say they're going to walk past here to go to the warehouse to work. They're going to want to have some food. They're going to stop there and grab something to bite. There's another one here, and I think that's a big reason why they might not stop there, or they might stop here actually more because it's on the way by. I really don't know how they work. I like to try to keep them spread out. I don't have as many as I'd like, and I think it's because I've been focused so much on this iron meta game here I'm trying to do, min-maxing. I've got some really nice training grounds upgraded to level 1, and this one as well. This one I haven't gotten there, and these 4 have been upgraded to full laboratories. As I understand, they look the same. I don't think anything has really changed too much. You could correct me if I'm wrong on that. We're gonna go over to nothing in the workshops have changed other than the actual products. So you can see these guys are making the metal armor. These guys are making short swords, and these guys are making falcatas. You can kind of see what they're doing if you look real closely, but at this moment, they kind of just look like they're doing the same thing. And yeah, that's about it for what my city has. I know I went over the city yesterday, so I don't want to reiterate everything that I did in the city yesterday. But to recap, I think that the most important thing you're going to want to know for this update is how to manage population. It may change with the upcoming beta. He may change it tomorrow, for all I know. But at the moment, people have a problem being happy with their lives. For example, food preferences are at 86%. I think this may be a bug. They are literally eating the only things they like to eat, but for some reason they do not feel like the fulfillment of their lives. Maybe they're eating rations on the side, but I have them set to not eat rations. So I don't know. Housing, that's not a concern. And furniture is just, your typical stuff. When it gets into services, they're all the same, like I've talked about. I think that this is a big detriment to Dondarians. They're the only race I noticed that doesn't really like roundness. I don't think the other races care so much. Roads and all that stuff is fine. I think that the soldiers still is a little bit off, because despite having 450, which is 150 more, it's still at 34%. And the melee training is not going up either. So it seems to be that you can't get these up there yet. Maybe I have to wait and have a lot more soldiers than I have. I'm not sure. Civilian is just hard to obtain because you need the technology, and there's a lot more things you want to up tech before you get to Civilian. The same with temples. Temples are going to be one of those things that you get much later. And all of these things like retirement, you're not going to get retirement until like late game retirement now. Indoctrinating your people, you can't do that through speakers. You actually have to put them through schools, but the Dondarians don't go to school, so I'm not quite sure how that works, especially because they are literally born onto this earth as grown men. So something maybe they go to school as a younger person, and then just riches and executed. I have managed to get 1,300 people. It's been pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. This is not your typical songs. If I was in beta right now, the way it currently is, I could probably get to 5,000 easily, more in a day. But because the fact the way this is working, I'm struggling. I've seen a lot of other people struggle. The Jake has literally asked us if it's too hard. So expect to have that challenge, keeping people happy. And someone commented um, that why don't you have multi-race city? And if it's going to be harder, it is going to be a lot harder because if I look, the Dundarians aren't too picky, and the humans aren't either. So if you did a human Dundarian city, you'd be okay. You see, they're pretty okay with each other, but they obviously Dundarians seem to like Talapi. Talapis hate Dundarians. They literally hate them. You look at Dundarians liking Cretonians. Cretonians, they like them. They're okay with them. So you could do a Cretonian human Dundarian city with Cantors in it, but the problem with that is Cantors do not like. Excuse me. Stop that. There we go. Cantors do not like humans. Thus runs the problem. You can't have them in your city. I think that to make a city proper, you can start it out with like let's say this many Dundarians, and then start to import small amounts of like whatever other race Talapis and stuff like that, and you can get away with it because you'll already have all of this stuff fulfilled, all of the other things that that race might like, especially if you gave them their food preferences and you built them their own little area. Definitely multi-race city will happen, but to start out and just get like, yeah, let me look at my neighbor here because the AI does it all the time. The AI has every single type of person in the area because it's basically allowing you to recruit from that population and access them for your army. That problem creates an issue here, seeing they don't like this biome. So in order to get your population up to upgrade the NSI, I figured out these towns and how they work. In order to get your population up, you need these people to be happy, and that's Cretonians who are really easy to grow. Everyone else is increasing at their own rate, but the Cretonians are a lot faster at it, from my understanding. They seem to be, but as I look at it, humans are pretty good. We've got current population at 710, and the current population is 119 for Cretonians, and their target is 163. So it's going to take them a while, and eventually if they get to 1.2k, I can upgrade this village center to a town hall, which gives me more workforce, more build points, and allows me to get more taxes. The town system is a little more simplified. Instead of having specific beds for every group or all that stuff, you just do one nursery. Nursery helps your population grow. Workshop allows you to have more build points. I put the physician in the well in there because health was an issue. But if you were to, let's say, leave your army stationed here and it was an actually decent army, this is only 30 guys who I hired, conscripted guys, because I have none in my army to choose from. They are keeping it a little bit up, but they're not anything. So eventually I'll try to maybe get a mercenary army for cheap and have them sit there and just spend them like $1,000 a day or something like that. Keep that city growing. Once it's grown to a specific spot, fire the mercenaries, and have it run on its own. It's all going to be different. Everything is going to be a little more challenging. I'll definitely do my best to try to give people a little bit of guidance from my end, but I think people are going to be telling me just as much in the chat, giving me info, because at this rate, I'm only one guy, you know, I can't do it all. But I know this is going to be a long recap, so I'm going to run it out here. Just want to say thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Say goodbye. Oh yeah, before I go, I gotta name. Its name is Ricky. This is a tidbit. This is a late tidbit here. If you'd like to get the best candidate for nobility, go to age. Right. Click on the youngest character in that race that you like and elevate them. Right. I would name him Ricky now, but his name will change. So let's look what he could be. He is going to be the master of industry. We're going to rename him Ricky. And this shout out to Ricky, who subbed and asked to be a nobleman. Ricky the Noble. He is a funny looking guy. Shout out to you, Ricky. You're a legend. I'll see you in the next one. Leslie. He weighs 88 stones. You. Fat. Goodbye.